Welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's been making headlines recently, salmonella. But before we delve into the cantaloupe crisis, let's take a moment to understand what we're dealing with. Salmonella, named after the scientist who discovered it, is a group of bacteria that can cause gastrointestinal illness and fever, known as salmonellosis. There are many different kinds of these bacteria. Salmonella serotype typhimurium and Salmonella serotype enteritis are the most common in the United States. Now, you may be wondering, how do these bacteria end up in our food? The answer lies in the way our food is processed and handled. Salmonella can contaminate a variety of foods during their processing. For instance, if an infected animal is slaughtered for food, the bacteria in animals' intestines can contaminate the meat. Similarly, fruits and vegetables can get contaminated if they come into contact with feces, the soil or water where they grow, or during the cutting and packing process. Now that we know what salmonella is and how it spreads, let's look at the current cantaloupe crisis in the next scene. Remember, knowledge is the first step in prevention. If you're interested in staying updated on more health-related topics, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to our channel. Hello, welcome to my channel. Ever thought your refreshing cantaloupe could be a ticking time bomb? It's a question that may seem out of place in a conversation about fruits, but sadly, it's a reality we're facing today. There's a hidden danger lurking in our fruit bowls, and it's struck in the form of a Salmonella outbreak linked to cantaloupes. This unexpected hazard surfaced earlier this month when health officials started to see an alarming pattern. Cases of Salmonella, a bacteria that causes fever, diarrhea, and stomach cramps, were rapidly increasing, and the common denominator was cantaloupe. The outbreak was first reported in several states, and the response from health officials was swift and clear. A warning was issued to consumers to avoid certain brands of cantaloupe sold various stores. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, along with the Food and Drug Administration, have been advising against consuming these melons since the initial warning. The list of stores selling the recalled product has expanded, and it includes some familiar names. Pre-cut cantaloupe sold at Kroger, Trader Joe's, and Sprouts Farmers Market have been included in the recall. Consumers have also been warned to steer clear of pre-cut cantaloupe from Aldi, Quick Trip, Freshness Guaranteed, Racetrack, Vineyard, and Bix Produce. In a remarkably short span of time, this outbreak has turned into a nationwide health concern. The cantaloupe-linked salmonella has resulted in a staggering 117 illnesses, 61 hospitalizations, and 2 deaths across 34 states. But as we navigate this crisis, it's crucial to remember that knowledge is power. Understanding the problem is the first step to protecting ourselves and our loved ones. So the next time you reach for that juicy piece of cantaloupe, remember, it's not just about the sweet taste anymore. It's about staying safe and being informed. Because as we've learned, even the most innocent-looking fruit can harbor unseen dangers. In just a short span of time, this outbreak has turned into a nationwide health concern. From its first report to the current situation, the outbreak has left a significant impact. Let's take a closer look at the timeline of this Salmonella outbreak linked to cantaloupes. The story began earlier this month, when health officials first identified a surge in Salmonella cases and traced the cause back to cantaloupes. The initial warning was clear: avoid certain brands of cantaloupe. But as the days passed, the situation escalated. The number of illnesses linked to these cantaloupes began to rise, and before long, hospitalizations followed. The outbreak, initially thought to be localized, started to reveal its true scale. Reports were coming in from all across the country, a total of 34 states to be precise. The impact of the outbreak wasn't just limited to rising illness numbers. Tragically, 2 deaths were reported, making it clear that this was not a matter to be taken lightly. The cantaloupes implicated in the outbreak were linked to 117 illnesses, 61 hospitalizations, and sadly, those 2 fatalities. As the situation worsened, the response from health officials and grocery stores intensified. Major grocery chains like Kroger, Trader Joe's, and Sprouts Farmers Market, among others, issued recalls on the cantaloupes. The list of recalled products expanded to include pre-cut cantaloupe from various brands, and even whole cantaloupes if their origin was unknown. The outbreak led to an atmosphere of uncertainty and caution. Consumers were advised to avoid pre-cut cantaloupe, especially if they were unsure of its origin. They were also warned about whole cantaloupes from certain brands, and in an effort to prevent further spread, health officials recommended washing anything that had come into contact with the recalled fruit. This timeline paints a picture of a rapidly escalating situation, a nationwide issue that has touched the lives of many. It's a stark reminder of how something as simple as a piece of fruit can carry unseen dangers and have wide-reaching effects. As the situation unfolds, it's clear that this is not just a local issue, but a nationwide concern. As we continue to monitor the developments, it's crucial to stay informed and take the necessary precautions to ensure our health and safety. But what exactly is Salmonella, and how does it turn a harmless fruit into a health hazard? I'm glad you asked. Salmonella is a group of bacteria that can cause gastrointestinal illness and fever known as salmonellosis. It's one of the most common causes of food poisoning, with symptoms including diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps, typically appearing within 6 hours to 6 days after ingesting the bacteria. Now you might be wondering, how did Salmonella get into cantaloupes? Well, these bacteria live in the intestinal tracts of humans and other animals. They can contaminate a wide range of foods, particularly those of animal origin like meat and eggs. But fruits and vegetables aren't off the hook. They can become contaminated during growth, if they come into contact with feces from infected animals, or during preparation and processing. In the case of our cantaloupes, it's possible that the bacteria were present in the soil or water where the melons grew, or they could have been introduced during harvesting, handling, or even during the process of pre-cutting and packaging the fruit. The thing about Salmonella is that it's a hardy bacteria. It can survive for quite a while on surfaces and isn't easily killed by freezing. This means that once it's on a food item, it can be transferred to other items, surfaces, or even people, creating a chain of contamination that's hard to break. That's why it's recommended to wash anything that has come into contact with the recalled fruit. It's also worth noting that not everyone who ingests Salmonella gets sick. The severity of the illness can depend on a variety of factors, including your overall health, the amount of bacteria you've ingested, and the specific strain of Salmonella. However, children, the elderly, and those with weakened immune systems are at higher risk of severe illness when exposed to this bacteria. Though it might be invisible to the naked eye, its effects are anything but. A tiny, unseen bacterium can cause widespread illness, disrupt our food supply, and even result in deaths. It's a sobering reminder of the importance of food safety and the unseen dangers lurking in the most unexpected places. So, how can you protect yourself and your loved ones from this unseen threat? Well, let's turn to the experts at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Food and Drug Administration for some guidance. First and foremost, they recommend avoiding certain brands of cantaloupe, including pre-cut cantaloupe, sold at a variety of stores. The list of stores selling the recalled product has expanded, so it's crucial to stay informed. The brands Malicita and Rudy have been specifically called out, so give them a wide berth. It's also essential to know the origin of your cantaloupe. If you're unsure, it's better to avoid it. Remember, the risk isn't just in the whole fruit, but in pre-cut versions as well. So, that fruit salad you're eyeing at the supermarket, if it contains cantaloupe and you're not sure of its origin, it's best to pass. Now, let's talk about cleaning. Anything that has come into contact with recalled cantaloupe should be thoroughly washed. This includes your hands, kitchen utensils, and counter surfaces. Salmonella can spread easily, so this step is critical in preventing cross-contamination. And finally, keep an eye out for the symptoms of Salmonella poisoning, which include diarrhea, fever, and stomach cramps. These typically appear within 6 hours to 6 days after ingestion. If you or a loved one start to show these symptoms, seek medical help promptly. In all of this, the key takeaway is awareness and caution. Be conscious of what you're buying, where it's from, and how it's handled. Remember, safety should always be your top priority. As we continue to navigate through this outbreak, it's important to stay informed. The cantaloupe-linked Salmonella outbreak has now reached 34 states, causing 117 illnesses, 61 hospitalizations, and sadly, 2 deaths. Major grocery stores have pulled these products off their shelves, and health officials are urging consumers to avoid certain brands and to wash anything that has been in contact with the fruit. The key takeaway here is to be vigilant of the origin of your produce and to maintain proper hygiene. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, knowledge is your best defense against such outbreaks.